going, man. Let's get this thing popping. Now, first news story. We're going to go on to the news stories. The first news stories. Again, family, I find things that are intriguing to me. And if I'm excited about it, that puts me in a headspace where I can talk about it in a manner that's intriguing to you. It's kind of like my secret, right? Because again, I don't really give a shit about all the news that I see, whether it's involving us or not. But certain things we need to know about. Certain things require deeper levels of context, right? So let's get into it. Now, news story I just seen, right? Malcolm X's family reveals a letter they say shows NYPD and FBI assassination was involved. So they're basically saying that the FBI and the NYPD was involved in Malcolm X's assassination. I mean, and at this point, at first hearing that, I was like, well, I mean, no shit. For any of us who've been following us, been watching, any of us who have been following this story in this situation about the brother, through all the documentaries and all the information that has been released, it's obvious to me that the government has something to do with it. Now, did the Nation of Islam have something to do with it too? I'm gonna be honest, even after watching all of the information that I watched, I can't really say they didn't. I'm not too sure to what degree they could have been involved, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's difficult to say based on Malcolm's relationship with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at the time. You know what I mean? They didn't have a rocky relationship, but keep in mind, Malcolm X did say that when he looked at how he was being surveilled and how he was being followed, he said the technology that was being used was way beyond what the Nation of Islam had at the time. You know what I mean? So it very well could have been the FBI. Now, let me read a little bit about the story, then I'll give my input on what's going on with this. Now, family members of Malcolm X have revealed a letter written by a New York police officer that they say shows the NYPD and the FBI were behind the 1965 assassination of the famed black leader. Now, the 2011 letter, and I'm going to get into that, why the letter was written, 10 years ago, and we're just now seeing it now. The 2011 letter by the now dead Officer Raymond A. Wood stated that Wood had been compelled by his supervisors at the New York Police Department to coax two members of Malcolm X's security team into committing crimes. They say, let me see here, into committing crimes leading to their arrest just a few days before the assassination. They were then unable to secure the entry to the New York's Audubon Ballroom where Malcolm X had been speaking when he was killed. Now, Wood maintained that the arrests were part of a conspiracy by the NYPD and the FBI to murder Malcolm X. No shit. Now, who had become disenchanted with the Nation of Islam and left the black group to start his own organization, the Muslim Mosque. Now, and I'll read a little bit of the letter the NYC officer left on his deathbed. I'm so sick of these goddamn deathbed confessions, but let me read a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I didn't notice at first. Oh, the brother was black. In my mind, I'm thinking, the police officer that they used to infiltrate was white, but why wouldn't they make him black? You know what I mean? Now, he says, I was a black New York City undercover police officer between May of 1964 through May of 1971. Wood's letter began. I participated in actions that, in hindsight, were deplorable and detrimental to my own black people. Under the direction of my handlers, I was told to encourage leaders and members of the civil rights group to commit felonious acts. Wood said he was hired by the NYPD to infiltrate the civil rights group to find evidence of criminal activity so the FBI could discredit and arrest its leaders. Well, keep it in mind, family, we are aware at this particular time, COINTELPRO was alive and well. So, of course, the FBI and the police were surveying all black leaders. Even if you hung with a black leader, they was tapping your phone too. You know what I mean? So let's look at it a little bit more. On the day of the assassination, Wood said his supervisors ordered him to be at the Audubon Ballroom, where he was identified by witnesses while leaving the scene. Khalil Islam, also known as Thomas Johnson, was later arrested and wrongfully convicted to protect my cover in the secrets of the FBI and the NYPD. This is what was said in the letter that the brother left, right? The letter was presented at a news conference Saturday in New York by Malcolm X's three daughters and civil rights attorney Ben Crump. A cousin of Wood, Reggie Wood, joined them in revealing the letter's contents at the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Educational Center, which is actually located on the site where the Audubon Ballroom once stood. Raymond Wood, who had written the letter shortly after being diagnosed with stomach cancer, had stipulated to his cousin that he did not want his involvement to be made public until after his death. His cancer went into remitance in 2012, and he did not die until November 24, 2020. Now, let me give my take on this shit, right? For one, this was a black man. So for everybody who's just joining me, Malcolm X's family has been holding on to a letter that basically revealed that this black cop, what is this guy's name? Raymond Wood, this black cop named Raymond Wood, who said he was basically told by the New York Police Department to go undercover, hire two of Malcolm X security guards so they could not be at their place, not be in front of the ballroom when everything popped off. So he lured their security away so the assassination can take place, right? And so here's the thing. Before I read this story, I didn't even realize that this was a black man who actually did this, right? So again, as we continue to talk about everything that goes on in this country, I make it a point to mention Manutorius Manumission, right? 1800s, early 1900s. This was a clause that was given to slaves where it basically told them, if you tell on somebody who's running away, if you tell on somebody who's doing anything nefarious, there's a reward system for you for actually doing this, right? And I bring that up because that started a long line of mistrust in our community. Meaning this, and I'll get into some more of what I feel about this situation, but this cop, Raymond Wood, if this is true, because I don't know, I don't trust nobody like that. So if this is true, because for one, all of us need to get to a point where being black is more important than, besides our family and God, that should be the most important thing to you. Meaning, if you work at a job that's basically telling you, you have to infiltrate your people in order to keep this job, because that's what the brother was saying too. He mentioned how he didn't want to do it, but the person that's ahead of his department told him if he didn't do it, then they would charge him with crimes, right? Now, when I first read that, I was like, he could be lying. But now that I realize this is a black man, he could be telling the truth, right? But the bottom line is, family, and this happens a lot, because even with the Malcolm X situation, let's say the police was involved, they infiltrated, they pulled all the strings. It was black men who did the dirty work. So it becomes like, what are you willing to do? You know what I mean? It's like, what are you willing to do? I understand everybody needs money. I understand everybody has to have a livelihood to be able to take care of their families. I get that. But what are you willing to risk? Like, how integral are you not if you're willing to do some shit like this that's going to pretty much affect our entire community? But even since we still dealing with that today, family, where we have coons and snitches who will infiltrate whoever just to get a leg up. You know what I mean? So that's a horrible, horrible scenario. You know what I mean? And that's something that we still deal with in our community to this day. And here's the thing. I'm actually tired of these deathbed confessions, right? Because this is, even though this was a brother, the lady who set up Emmett Till kind of did the same thing. She kind of made sure she waited till she was about to die. You know what I mean? That's cowardice at the end of the day. So this brother, Raymond Woods, if everything he said is true, I don't respect it. Because if you feel it was deplorable and you fucked over your people, for lack of a better term, Confess while you're alive. Go to jail. Go to jail. Confess while you're alive. Give more information so we can know who else was involved. You know what I mean? Because what do we do now with this? They said they're going to investigate it. Well, after the Malcolm X documentary last year, authorities said they're going to reopen the case and investigate it. But to me, this is almost like a slap in the face. Now, I know that the family of Malcolm X wants some type of closure, right? I think that's what all of this is about, is some type of closure. And I get it. From the family's perspective, I get it. But fuck that. If ain't nobody going to jail, this is just posturing. Like, and they doing this shit in Black History Month. Y'all not slick. To me, this is just posturing. This is just symbolism, like always. If y'all not going to arrest nobody, because to me, it's easy. They give us conspiracy charges where everybody goes to jail. If your girlfriend knew about what you was doing, she go to jail. Your auntie and them knew, we breaking her door down and putting her outside with handcuffs on. Do the same shit to other people when they do nefarious things to our community, and their families don't have to deal with that. The people in their lineage don't have to deal with their wrongdoings, you know what I mean? But when we get hit with RICO charges and all this shit, they come get everybody. If you knew about it, if they think you knew about it, you go to jail. The same shit should happen in these kind of situations, and we're in this fake racial harmony scenario now where everybody is kumbaya with each other, but you want to be kumbaya biting, push this through. Make sure somebody goes to jail. Like, we need to realize, family, there needs to be repercussions to actions. When shit happen, and this is for a little kid on to a completely grown person. If you do something and there's no repercussions for your actions, if you don't have to go to jail, if you don't have to be hurt, if you don't have to be punished, what makes the next person not do the same thing? You see what I'm saying? So they can reopen this case if they want to, but if they don't plan on putting someone in jail, what the hell is the point? So this black man writes a letter saying, I was a cop. The cops had me set up Malcolm X so two Muslim brothers can kill him. What do we do with that information, family? They having a press conference where they have the letter like in this envelope and everything. Cool. What if it comes out, which don't we know that by now, that the feds were involved with this, even if slightly, even if they was the motivation behind people going to do this, they were definitely involved. You know what I mean? So what do we do with that at this point? Because again, we know COINTELPRO was active at that time. So what do we do with this at this point? If this comes out that it is true, if they find out it's true, what, you gonna give the family some money? You know what I mean? Because I was reading more about the article. So 3 brothers was arrested for doing this, right? 3 brothers, I think 2 of them are dead. 1 of them is still alive. They all served 20 some odd years. 1 of them served 45 years in the penitentiary, right? And he has been saying he was innocent the entire time. So this lie, this situation has affected several families. You see that? You see the trickle-down effect? This has affected several families. So what are we going to do if, excuse me, if it comes out that this is true and the brother's letter can be verified and it's actually happened, what do we do for those brothers who spent all those years in the pen? Do we backdate it and give their families millions of dollars, right? We quick to give somebody $1 million. We quick to give money to families of slain victims. When we get shot by the cops, they quick to jump in there and offer some type of settlement. I think all of these brothers' families should be compensated pretty much for the rest of their life. Their lives were ruined based on governmental type of scandals. You know what I mean? Like, we need to... This is bullshit, man. This is why when I look at the corona shit, when I look at everything going on with Biden, when I look at everything in real time, right, I'm not quick to make a judgment, because all too often, several years go by and we always find out the truth about some shit. They let 20, 30 years go by and they say, oh yeah, we did do that to you niggas. I'm tired of that, man. So I don't know what's going to come of this black man writing a letter saying he was involved in the Malcolm X killing. He was a cop who was involved. I don't know what's going to happen. But if y'all not going to pay out these families, if y'all not going to seek some jail time, if y'all not going to create some new laws that can prevent the government from interfering in our organizations, like, if you're not going to do none of that, then what the hell is all this for? You feel me? So I want the family to have some closure. I know all these years went by and just how traumatic it can be seeing all these pictures of that man getting slain, and they continue to show the pictures and the images. I get it, but I'm tired of posturing. I'm tired of symbolistic gestures. Everybody provides us symbols, family. God damn, when is some real effective change gonna happen? You see what I'm saying? When my brothers and the men around me that grew up in my neighborhood, right? When they did things wrong, when they broke the law, they never got a fair shake. When they broke the law, they went to jail, family. They went to jail. They tried to explain what was going on and what was happening, and it was some crazy stuff. The law don't care about that shit. You guys, the law in the United States, is relentless on our community. Relentless. No matter what. You know what I mean? But if you're a cop or if you're a part of the government yourself, your ass get a pass. That's why, again, family, I don't trust the United States of America. Everything that we go through in this country, if you look at history, it's all just history repeating itself. So I hope Malcolm X's family gets some type of closure. I hope somebody goes to jail. I don't give a fuck, because at this point, every detective involved in the Malcolm X case, I'm sure they're elderly or dead, right? I say everybody go to jail. If you still alive, go to jail. Jewish people, if they find somebody that was Jewish and a part of the Holocaust, they don't care what age your ass is, you're going to jail. You 89? Yeah, you're going to be in jail until your ass die. You see what I'm saying? It should be the same way in these type of situations, or don't even talk about them. You feel me?